All right, what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85. Welcome to episode 27, and tonight is going to be all about Chucky, the Chucky movies, the series. So when we get into the series, there may be some spoilers. So if you want to leave at that point, feel free. Otherwise, stick around and we'll discuss those in depth. Before we get started on that, I figure we'll just tell who's coming up the next few weeks. Next week, we got Greta I always have trouble saying her last name, Volkova. Greta Volkova. Welcome, Aaron. Thank you for joining us. Just going over who's coming up in the next couple weeks, and then we'll be diving into Chucky. So any input you want to talk about, your favorite movie, whatever you like, let us know. And then let's see, that's the 14th. The 20th is going to be Giovanni Rodriguez. Yes, Giovanni Rodriguez from Suicide Squad. I've seen like 2 movies. Well, hopefully it was just 1 and 2. Well, I mean, they're all good. They do get better, but hopefully it was 1 and 2 that you saw. And then, of course, on the 27th, we got Rob Mello and Rebecca Reinhardt joining us. So Rob from Happy Death Day, and of course, we know Rebecca Reinhardt's been on. They're going to discuss, their projects and an upcoming movie that they are working on together. So, all right, let's see. I don't know if someone else came in or not. Welcome, whoever's here. So I guess we'll go ahead and start out with the famous Child's Play that started it all. All about Charles Lee Ray. Mm-hmm. So of course, we got Charles Lee Ray, known as the Strangler, even though he kills people more than just strangling them. Let's see. Oh, yeah, allergy. Oh, yeah, the last stream. I don't know. I took some Alka-Seltzer Cold, and it kicked it whatever I had. So I'm glad I sound better. Yeah, yeah, I was like,
yeah.
It was bad last week, but yeah, probably just allergies. So nothing else was wrong. So thank you for asking. So yeah, we got Chris Sarandon, who plays the cop in it, Katherine Heigl, who is the mom, Alex Vincent, of course, is Andy, and all he wants for his birthday is a good guy doll. What he doesn't know, yes, we got our good guys. And we got Charles Lee Ray, who is trying to outrun the police. His friend leaves him. He gets shot, goes into the toy factory, and he learns some voodoo. So he put it to use, and he transfers his soul into the body of a good guy. Mm-hmm. So what else would you like to add to that before I continue your thoughts on that, or anything else you want to add?
I know they based it off a real life doll, Robert the doll.
Robert the doll, yeah.
And then like his look was based off a real life toy from the 80s. The My Buddy doll, of course, pretty much everybody knows that one, but not very many people know he's based off a real doll, but Robert the doll.
Yep, Robert the doll. Kind of like how, a little off topic, I'll get back to it, but Nightmare on Elm Street was even based on some dreams, a little bit of, fact, not really. So it's interesting how these horror movies and slashers are a little bit based on reality as well, even though we get into the fiction part of it transferring, but
right. I know. I want to say his name is based off actual serial killers too, but
all his names.
I was trying to remember what they all were. Like the killers.
Charles Manson.
Oh yeah, Charles Manson.
Lee Harvey who killed Kennedy. Lee Harvey. What was his last name? You know who I'm talking about. Oswald. That's right. And then Ray was.
That's one I was really stumped on, was Ray. I know it, but I'm just like completely blank on who
I can't remember which Ray. Yeah, it'll probably come to me later.
Right. Yeah, it's like we all know it. It's just like, and when you gotta think about it, it's just like, oh, what is it?
But yeah, it was based off serial killer names, so that's another little interesting fact about the movie there.
Yeah. I like towards the end where he's like burnt, but they actually have like the real actor in it, and he's like in the burnt suit. I think that looks more creepy than the doll itself, where the person's like actually moving. I think that part is probably more scary than the doll, like the fake animatronics that they have going off. But
we got Ed Gale, who was Chucky in that. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, he is a small guy. When I met him, when I was kneeling on my knees next to him in the picture, I was still taller than him on my knees. So, yeah. Yeah, he was also Howard the Duck as well.
Nice.
But yeah, that's interesting how they had him in it. So yeah, of course, what was I saying? So we got him transferring his soul. His mom, buys Chucky from a peddler out in the street. A friend pulls her out from work, almost gets her in trouble and everything, go out and making sure that's the good guy doll. And she doesn't know that, of course, that's the one from the factory. Which later on, when she pulls out and looks at the batteries, there's no batteries in there, which is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, that's another scary part of the movie. When you realize that, there's no batteries, and of course the audience knows that he's been possessed because they've been along for it. But then that's when she realizes everything's been true.
Yep, and kills his babysitter and all that. So doesn't go crazy. Nobody believes him at first that Chucky's talking to him, and he tells his secret, and he later finds out how he can become, or to get the body, he can only go into the person that told his secret. So Charles thinks it's all funny that he's going to be in the body of a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And he's killing everyone around him. The babysitter, he pushes out the window, and the cop is kind of suspicious at him because, they see footprints. It's not like an accident, as, everybody thinks it might be. You're trying to tell the mom that, hey, this is a murder going on, not these accidents going on. So.
Yeah, and the toy hammer that he used.
The toy hammer knocked her in the head. Yep.
80 toys were no joke.
Apparently, it was a real miniature hammer, I guess. You could actually pound some if you could knock someone in the head of that. And then when he's going through, and I forget the guy's name, but the guy who taught him voodoo when he went to go, and he takes his own voodoo doll against him, breaks his leg, breaks his arm to try to tell him what's happening to him, how he's becoming human because his nose, or he was either shot or his nose was bleeding or something happened to him, and he finds out that he's going to be human again, and he can be killed if he doesn't get back in the body before a certain amount of time. I really enjoyed the first one. So
yeah, the first one's an automatic classic. You can't go wrong with the originals.
A true classic, or what's the line he says? A true classic never goes out of style. Later on, yep, stabbing him through there. Let's see. So, Aaron, the first one, which one? You said you saw two of them. Anything you want to add about the first one? If you're still here, that's fine. You can chime in anytime. If you'd like to discuss your favorite one or views on it. So, and the ending scene too, of course, when they're fighting and he's melting, they're shooting him, falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So, good cast. I can't remember if Alex Vincent did anything before that, but portraying Andy, I mean, he did a really good job for being a
right.
Trying to convince, Chucky did it.
I saw you tagged him in something. It'd be funny if he popped into the chat.
Oh, I think was it the Dexter I tagged him in or whatever.
I don't remember. I just remember I seen you tag him into something.
Because I know Alex also watches Dexter and everything, so I might have shared that with him. He was even dressed up as Dexter at a Spooky Empire a couple years ago and stuff. So. Or no, that was his Halloween. No, I got that backwards. There was someone who was a Dexter, and we're looking at him, and he said hi to her, or he's like trying to talk to him, and he just walked off, and we're like, okay, that's weird. I go, hey, maybe he was going through his own inner monologue, like with thoughts about being normal and who he wants to kill and everything. but there was pictures. He was Dexter for Halloween, but he wasn't at Spooky Empire. But it was funny though. But yeah, that's. Tomorrow night, I know you didn't watch Dexter.
No, I know squat about Dexter.
I guess we won't be doing a Dexter episode then.
I could always binge it if you tell me ahead of time.
Okay, binge watch it for next year. We'll do a Dexter. Well, because there was, I think, 7 original seasons and then the new one. So, I mean, they're only 12 episodes a piece, but I mean, you could catch up to them though.
Right? Yeah. If I know enough time, I can always binge it. Just as long as it's like streaming somewhere where I could get a hold of it.
So, I think it is on Amazon. Oh, but you don't. Do you have
Prime?
Yeah, you do have Prime. Let's see. Aaron watched a few Dexter episodes. Yeah. It's a really good show. I enjoyed it. I'm glad they're redoing it because the ending I wasn't too happy with. So I'm glad.
I heard a lot of people didn't like the ending. I heard they did a really crappy job with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but.
So, yeah, it's.
I just seen a lot of people complain. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I like the end of Game of Thrones, which I've never seen that either, but I know a lot of people was complaining about that one too.
Well, I think they even wanted them to rewrite it. There was like a petition to rewrite it. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't think they're going to rewrite the whole ending.
Not with all the effects and everything as
And
much
the
expensive
locations.
as those episodes are.
Yeah, and the locations where they film it. Yeah,
Right.
traveling out of the country. Let's see. So, yeah, the Showtime Dexter, I think the new one is just a new season. I don't know, continuation. I know it's a continuation. It's called New Blood. So, and they might have his son in it. I don't know. We'll see. But it looked really good. So, but I guess Jennifer Carpenter is supposed to be like his vision of his father from the original. And that's, well, I'll leave it at that. But, so. But anyway, back to the Chuck. We don't want to fuck with the Chuck now and piss him off. Yeah, the final scene when he's melting down. Yo, and that's the first
Glare off it.
The first 4 or the second through, I forget which
Second
one.
through. Oh yeah, I need the first one, don't I? Don't worry, I got it. I just grabbed the wrong disc. I forgot number 1 wasn't on there.
That's a weird combo. The Howling.
I know, right?
Werewolf. I mean, if it was like another doll movie or something, it would have made sense. Or Puppet Master, or but Chucky and the Howling.
Yeah, because when I bought this, I did. Oh, where'd it go? When I bought this one, I didn't realize it didn't have number 1 because I didn't look at it very well. And I seen it had a 2, 3, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. So I bought this thinking I had the first one on there too. So I actually bought this one first. And then I saw it didn't have that one, so I had to go shopping. And I found this. I was like, oh, I don't have the Howling either. I might as well buy this. So yeah, I got the Howling with Child's Play.
Mm-hmm. He does howl. Chucky's laughing. There we go. He's Brad Dourif is. I don't think anyone else could have been Chucky. He was perfect for the voice and all the sarcasm and all of his great one-liners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a great Chucky.
Yep. I think what else about part 1 we can discuss here. There weren't too many kills in the first one.
No, there isn't.
He picks up in the second one. He gets more kills. The second and third, then we start getting into a bunch more kills. But the first one, I think the only kills in the first one, besides his death, the friend pushed out, or the babysitter pushed out.
Babysitter.
That one cop or whatever. Wasn't there that cop that was there? Or no? Oh, now I lost track of. We should have done a death toll too. I should have marked down the deaths in each one.
I know he tried to kill a cop towards the end, but they ended up saving it. So I don't remember if there was a death before that.
Yeah, the voodoo guy, of course, got killed.
Yeah.
But mostly it was just him trying to get into the soul of it, or move his soul into Andy. Yeah. That was basically the plot of the first one. So, and the second one, of course, he continues. Anybody who gets in his way, like he even says later on in him, he's like, dying's a bitch. He's like, I'll be back, but dying's a bitch.
And then Chucky 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, and Seed of Chucky, I did not have time to rewatch, so I'll have to try to go off memory, so I won't be that great on these, but I did try to watch some like recap videos because I just didn't have time to watch the whole movies.
Yes, I have watched the episodes of Chucky. I've watched all 4 of them, and after the discussion of the movies, like I said, I'll be going into the TV show talking about that. So whether you want to know spoilers or not, so whether you want to know spoilers or not, it's up to you, because there will be spoilers. I will discuss it. So, but like I said, I'll warn ahead of time too. So if you want to hear about it, that's fine, or come back, watch it later, whatever you want to do. But I figured throw in Chucky. I watched the Child's Play movie and Child's Play and Chucky movie. I just didn't watch the new one, the remake, which I don't really care. I
watched the remake and the original, and then I watched episode 1 through 3, and that's the only time I had to play it. But yeah, I watched the remake.
They shouldn't have called it Child's Play.
They shouldn't have called it Child's Play.
I still can't get over that.
The concept is really good, though, but we'll get into that one later. But I got notes on that one. But
so, yep. And as we get into Child's Play 2, of course, he's taken away from his mother, put into foster care, and they feel sorry for him. The dad who, or the husband, I should say, that him and his wife take in foster children, he's kind of iffy about him and worried about his mental stability.
Yeah, and they put the mom in an asylum.
Yeah, so they kind of think little Andy's might be a little challenge to raise. We'll put it that way.
Cuckoo puffs.
Cuckoo.
But yeah, especially having to go all through the trauma, and then they think the kid had something to do with it. So, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't put him in like some sort of asylum as well, but instead they put him in a foster family.
Yeah, because him saying Chucky did it and everything.
Right, exactly. And there's only like a few people that backed him on that. Like one of the videos I saw in the recap, I guess like the police didn't, even though there was 2 officers that witnessed the doll alive, they ended up not backing them later on. So they put the mom in the mental asylum, but they send the kid to another family. Would think that they'd just put him in an asylum too.
Yeah, and they end up, when he gets there, it gets broken later on, so they think it's him, but they have like a collectible item and everything. I forget what the statue was. It was in her family for years, and she takes him up to the bedroom and didn't realize that when he goes into the closet, there was a good guy doll that falls out, and everything kind of freaks him out, and she didn't realize that it was in there. And that one goes by the name Tommy, but of course, Chucky later on sneaks his way in and replaces himself with Tommy so he can get back at Andy. Then we got Kyle in this one, another foster child that was adopted by them. I can't think of her name right now. Was it Christine Elise or Elise Christine? Or
I have no clue.
I think what's funny, I think she was even in an episode of 90210 back in the day.
I could see that.
And so, of course, she's not really believing him at first, and how he's kind of freaked out.
Right.
And Chucky, he looks up Andy's file and tries to track down, where he is, and he calls pretending to be the uncle, and so that's how he gets the address of where Andy is. And he gets rid of Tommy, buries him in this yard under the swing, which we see later on when they're going through, and we know he's there, but of course, Kyle discovers him later on. So, and the teacher, one of my favorite kills, when he has the teacher, he writes, well, he doesn't write, Chucky writes "fuck you" on the paper and pisses off the teacher, and the teacher thinks it's him, so she locks him in there, and of course he goes out the window, escapes everything, but she gets beaten down with a ruler. You naughty. Yeah. What do you want to say about the second one?
I didn't get time to watch it, but
That one you didn't watch.
If I remember by the recap videos, is that the one that, or it might be number 3, where the toy company was like had Andy's address and like had a file on him, like they was keeping track on him?
That's the third one. Just in the beginning, they
is that the third one? Okay.
Well, they talk about remaking the doll, bringing it back in the '90s before the military.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember which one it was, but yeah, I think it was the third one. Like I said, I only had time to watch recap videos, so I didn't have much time to watch it. But
and before he's sent back to the foster home, the dad, he's like kind of irritated, like trying to say this is just a doll, and he ends up getting killed in the basement when he's going down the stairs, and Chucky, of course, like hangs him down and drops him and kills him, and the wife is all like, she blames Andy, so that's why he gets called back before they go to the factory. So once he's sent back and everything, Kyle, she's outside swinging from earlier, and then she finds the Tommy down there and runs back in, and then of course the adoptive foster mother, he killed her. He sewed her face or whatever with the sewing machine. I don't even know if you remember that kill.
No, I don't.
With the scissors, and she's fighting him. And so at first you think she's going to get out of it, and he ends up taking her hostage and having her drive to to the foster place to get him out of there. And she's all speeding, cop pulls her over, and he's all bleeding, and he's like, "Is that a good guy doll?" And he's like, "Is it bleeding?" "Oh, the one that pees, this one bleeds." And so luckily she got luckily
I remember one of the recap videos I watched, they mentioned like a lot of the kids in the place where they take Andy is like wearing good guy clothes. You would think with everything he's been through that, knowing that the good guy thing like kind of triggers him, that possibly what they think actually caused these accidents, you would think they'd be a little bit more cautious and not have everybody wearing good guy clothes.
They just want to traumatize him even more.
Right. It's same with the foster home, they had the good guy doll there, and even though the lady had talked to him about him saying that the doll like killed the person and whatnot. So but what they have a good guy doll in the house.
They just want to traumatize him, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, what was it, bitch driver? He's like, women. And so she knocks him out the window when they're driving, and so once he gets Andy, they end up back at the toy factory when they're jumping onto the truck, and she's trying to hunt him down. She like pulls over the truck, and they end up in the toy factory with the there was, I guess, a delivery or something was going on. That's why the garage door was up. It's going down. She races in underneath, trying to rescue Andy before transfers the soul and everything. What was it when they're making the all of the different ones, and he gets steamed up for
Excuse me.
Which I don't know if you remember that or not.
Bits of it, yeah.
So he loses his hand, gets a knife to it, or he puts the knife in as a weapon because he's got his hand cut off.
Yeah.
And he's hunting her through. They're fighting, and she ends up putting them in the heater where they're putting all the parts in there and melts them. So that's, of course, how they get rid of him in the first one, how he's all melted together, and he's still alive, half his body crawling through, and he almost kills Kyle going up the belt, but Andy, wakes her up and pours off the rest of the acid or whatever the hot melted plastic is, and that's how pretty much that ends, and then they go, quote, home. Where is that? Heroic Waffles. What's up, Waffles? We're just at the end of Child's Play 2 when Chucky got melted. And they're heading out, and that'll be the end of that one. And of course, they never learn in Child's Play 3. That's the one, the company, they want to bring back the good guy because...
And what I don't get is why the Earth that they want to use the same doll and melt them down and make a new doll. You would think that with all this stuff going on about this damn doll, it is like, well, this one's defective at least, very least. So this one's defective and get rid of it. But no, they're gonna melt them down and make a new one.
Yeah, the one that's melted, they show him, they're like scraping all the melt off his teeth and fixing the skull, giving him new eyes. Like, there's no point. It's like, it's a defective doll regardless whether you believe that it's alive. I mean, there might be something wrong with it regardless.
No, we gotta save those pennies, melt her down.
We'll just use the original doll back from the 80s to sell it as a 90s doll.
Right. Yeah, this is the one where he goes to the military, right? Where they don't use Alex Vincent, they use somebody else because he wouldn't age properly for the movie.
Right.
Plot line, I should say.
Yeah, he wasn't the age that they wanted Andy to be in it. So they had someone play a 17-year-old Andy. Of course, he's still traumatized from when he was a child.
Right.
In school. And they have the file on him about everything that happened. And even the sergeant or whoever was in charge, the colonel, is telling how he doesn't like troublemakers and, not to cause trouble. And they don't really believe. He's like, you got to grow up, dolls aren't real. And they don't believe him, of course. But before they go to the military, of course, it does have them where they're rebuilding Chucky. I like how the guy, when they're building him, he gets electrocuted while they're putting in the eyes. So you got a death right off the bat there while he's being created. And they give the owner of the company, or the president or whoever's in charge, they give him the doll. And while he's in his office, he's like playing golf and watching TV. Like, he's got like one of those little miniature golf course in his office, and he's playing. And I think there was a couple of good guy dolls in there, but Chucky messes with him, turns off the TV, starts messing with the toys. The helicopter at one point crashed. And when he goes to find him, of course, he comes up behind him, a little strangulation to get the circulation going.
Right.
So what's going on, Waffles? And then we go into the military camp. That's when he was looking up Andy's information and all of that because they were. So he mails himself to the the school, and a different kid. I think his name was Tyler. I want to say.
Yeah, I think it is Tyler.
Yeah. He's one of the kids. His father, I guess, is in the military, and so he's there while he's away. And he ends up intercepting the package. He was supposed to bring it to Andy, but of course, he does it, and he ends up being the one that's told the secret of Chucky's real name. So he really doesn't need Andy anymore, but yet he's still after him because he killed him twice, pretty much.
Right? Yeah.
So he wants to
Vengeance.
he wants to get his revenge going on there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they should have called one Chucky's Revenge.
That should have been his revenge, pretty much. Just Child's Play 3. Should have just been Chucky's Revenge.
Right. And then they do that whole paintball thing, and then Chucky has freaking live grenades. Like, where the hell did he live grenade?
Well, because I guess since it was military, they do have real ammo that they were shooting with and everything. I don't know about the grenades though. I know why they had the rifles and everything, because they were shooting target practice and everything, and she was helping them. And what was that girl's name? I can't remember. But there was someone who was there, and she, felt sorry for Andy, and she thought he was kind of shy, and she broke into the office and she found the file of him being in foster care. She didn't get to the part to Chucky, but she found Tyler playing hide and seek with Chucky. Tyler believes that since he's a good guy, and he doesn't know about the game, the hide the soul.
Yes, it does sound kind of perverted.
Hide the soul. I like when he goes to Andy, he's like, Chucky's going to be a show. And of course, we got those other I guess they're like in charge. Other students, so they're not really students, but they're not really sergeants, but they're like in charge of the groups and everything. Total ass to him, and makes fun of him when he finds Chucky and he wants to take it to his sister as like a birthday present, and hides him in his room. And Chucky's trying to, every time he tries to get close to Tyler, he just keeps losing his chance. The girls are putting lipstick on him like when they're in the office. And when he first gets on the base, though, when he kills the trash man driver of the garbage truck,
right?
He gets in there. The general throws him out, and he's like crying out, pretending that he's stuck in the trash bin. And the guy gets in and he crushes him. Or when the general has a heart attack, it's like, he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He was all ready to stab him. He freaks him out.
He was mad. He got his kill taken away from him.
He didn't get his stabbing in. He was it wasn't a complete kill.
Right.
So, and Andy again tries to warn Tyler that he's not a good guy, and Tyler's just all thinking that he's jealous, and he still wants to be his friend. And Andy thankfully gives him the knife to protect himself. Yeah, did you have any other recap notes or?
No, for this one, I'm just trying to like go off memory of what I can remember of.
Yep. So, I got a text message here from my roommate. I guess he's probably going to come on, or not come on, but watch the show here. he just asked, "What's your channel name?" He probably hears me talking. Let me just go.
No, you're just talking to yourself.
Yes, I like.
You got a Chucky doll in there that you're talking to.
I'm being held hostage. Help me, please. Help me, please.
Kidnapped.
Playing hide the soul.
It could be a bedroom game. You never know.
That's a new game. Hide the soul. It's a new fetish, new game. It's like, whatever you do, don't Google it.
Right.
I wonder what would happen. I'm gonna have to do that later, just as a joke. Hide the soul.
Just clear your history.
Clear this. Whoa! What is this? But yeah, we're getting to the battle and everything. They're having a capture a flag contest.
Mm-hmm.
And the kill, the barber though, who's like a total douche to them all and pulling their hair and cutting them. He's being killed by after Andy's friend, kind of the geeky one that also gets made fun of and everything. He's a total coward at first, but he kind of redeems himself during he witnesses. He comes back after Chucky kills him. The guy was going to shave Chucky's head. He pulls out a razor, slices his throat. Presto, you're dead.
Yeah, why on earth would he want to cut the doll's hair though? Unless he wants to make him look like he's in the military too.
I guess military Chucky, maybe. I don't know.
Either that, or he's just really obsessed with cutting hair.
I guess even doll's hair. He was trying to change his good guy's clothes, put on a uniform and everything. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be funny. A G.I. Joe Chucky.
Oh, he almost got into that. Yeah. So that's when his friend comes down, sees him, and he's freaked out. But he won't, confess to Andy that he saw that, and he knows that Andy's telling the truth, but he's like too scared to do anything about it. And while this is going on, they don't know that Chucky's switching out all of the paintball rounds with actual real ammo. So they go into that. And he wants to help Tyler because he's still worried. He's off on the red team going down, and he still knows Chucky is after him, trying to convince his friend to, it's Tyler, we got to help him out. And he's too scared to do anything about it. He ends up sneaking the map out. And when he goes over to that camp, he finds out that Tyler already left the tent with Chucky because another kid told him, he's with his friend Charles. And that's when And it's not too far from, there's like a fairground. That's where the final battle takes place there. Well, final confrontation, whatever you want to call it, takes place. And his leader of the group thinks he's trying to betray him. Team going AWOL to help out the red team. And that's when Chucky comes on the radio. He's got the girl that he likes, and he's saying to bring the boy to him. And he's like, who the fuck is this? You know, and he think it's someone off the other team trying to get him, not unaware that he was setting up the red team to shoot the blue team with the actual ammo.
Right.
And, of course, he kind of deserved to die. He was an ass through the movie, you know.
It's always satisfying when the assholes get killed, no matter if they get killed by like a monster or whatever. But when the assholes end up dying in the movie, it's usually always satisfying. You want to cheer them on.
The bullet shot, it was great how they did the shot, the boom right in his chest and blood.
Yeah.
I mean, he falls right down, the angle and the slow-mo when he falls down. I mean, that was a good kill. And they didn't realize at first where the bullets are flying, and then they stop it, and the asshole's friend thinks it's Andy. It's Chucky's running off after Tyler's running off. He, in the commotion, got freed, and he's running off to that fair trying to escape Chucky, and he ends up going after him to that fairground. And the security, he's looking for help there, and he runs into the security there at the fairgrounds, and he's trying to tell him what's going on. And the guy realizes he's from the academy up the road and trying to figure out what's going on. And then he pulls out Chucky. He's like, I found this. And he pulls out Chucky. So Andy, they track him down to like a roller coaster ride. If you remember that, when they're going through the roller coaster, that where the
dark ride thing, yeah,
the dark ride. Yep. He's hanging down the roller coaster, and they're fighting. As Chucky's after Tyler, he gets his side of his face cut off. That's how in the next one, he has the stitches, his face being thrown up. But besides
that a carnival ride would have something that sharp.
Fair, because it got pretty close to the riders too. Like
right, one wrong move, it could like come loose or something, and like
that was
the people. But back then, safety wasn't really a priority.
Apparently not. I mean, that's
not really.
That's probably one of the most unsafe rides. Actually, it looks like. Was he holding? Oh no, his scythe isn't in there. I was gonna say kind of like the death one. It looked like he had a scythe, but he's just stirring. I was gonna say, yeah, it looks like that right there, going through. But yeah, that was crazy. You're right though. I thought I'm like, damn, this is a ride. Like a
ride? Definitely.
It
definitely shouldn't have been that sharp.
Have to sign a waiver before you get on that ride or something. What's up, Doomsday? So. Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting thought. Yes, never want to go on that ride. So, but yeah, as he's getting Tyler, Tyler does get hit and knocked out. But just before he can transfer his soul, Andy, of course, knocks him down into the fan, slices him up to multiple pieces, and saves the day there. So. Oh, I forgot to mention, though, that friend who I was saying who did redeem himself while they were battling, he actually had that grenade, and he jumped on it and saved everybody before he ran off. So, which, like I said, at least he ended up saving them, but that was a little depressing. Like, damn.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
That's got to be a horrible way to go.
A grenade blown into his stomach, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a bad way to go.
It's going to be interesting. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let me know whatever that is there. So,
keeping secrets. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. I'm just teasing.
He's got a.
Don't take half the stuff I say seriously. Be honest.
Doomsday Crypt got a secret, not a secret. It's a secret. It's fine. You can either let me know here or wherever. So that's fine. You can message me later. We'll talk. And But yeah, that was the end of that. After Chucky gets grinded up in the fan, and of course, he gets taken off to jail again, and he's like, "Oh, I'm used to this." So Andy's back to. He was probably 17 in that, so that was probably foster care for another year, and we don't see Andy until Curse Cult. Yeah, Curse.
Yeah,
Curse first, then Cult. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the end credit we see him. Yeah. So, and then we get into The Bride with Tiffany Valentine.
Yeah.
So and that one you still got your recap too. You said, right? You had only watched.
Yeah, what I remember this one, because this is when they start getting kind of silly. This, like Bride, I kind of like Bride of Chucky because it's silly, it's fun, and they just have a good old time. They're trying to like outdo each other on kills later on. But I don't know. I kind of like this one, but that's just me. I like the goofy ones.
Yeah, it's the next one. See, I won't get into it yet. We're on Bride, but like a lot of people probably didn't like that one. And as I rewatched it, I was like, it's not as bad as I thought. It was goofy, but it was funny though.
Right.
So, and I guess maybe
I don't remember much about C. I remember a little bit, but I remember a little bit more about Bride. I mean, they have John Ritter in it, for Christ's sake.
He was an asshole.
Yeah.
Another asshole. Like the parents, they keep forgetting. He's like, asshole. Did he say asshole? Definitely. Well, he got nailed. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I thought it was cute. It's almost like their dating style kind of things. Like, they was trying to like do different kills to impress each other, and of course she had to have a little Martha Stewart reference to like everything that she did.
And she always mentioned her mom too. After Child's Play 3, wasn't a fan at the time with the cartoon's direction, but appreciate it more now. Actually, rewatching them though, I mean, I actually appreciate it more. I mean, it did get silly, but I mean, it was fun though.
Yeah, I really kind of like Brad. I don't really remember 2 and 3 very much, but I'm sure I don't hate them. Obviously, I own all of them. I don't hate them as this. I remember the silly ones more because that's more my style of movie. Of course, the originals great, but
yeah.
Usually when it gets to the more silly range, that's usually when I get kind of perked up and like it a little bit more. But yeah, I thought it was fun, like the dynamic of the two of them together.
Yeah, and then we had Katherine Heigl, who was like also in Roswell, and she's done some other movies, and it's probably one of her. I'm not sure, one of her earlier ones. Of course, I can't remember if it was before or after Roswell, but she plays the niece of John Ritter, who's like controlling her, not letting her go out with her boyfriend because I guess he thinks that he's trouble. He lives in a trailer park and everything. He's not, I guess, rich or whatever. He's the chief of police, so he has that cop spy on her.
Yeah.
And like when they're going, it's either their homecoming or prom, one of the two. And she got like one of their friends to pretend to go out. He said he was like going to Harvard or let's see, 90s. I was in high school and was more interested, to be fair, in other things. Okay. Yep.
And that was the 90s. I was in high school as well, but that's about when I started getting into horror movies. So I didn't get ventured into Chucky till later on, but yeah, I was definitely. But yeah, that's what you kind of did. You would tell your I know I did it. You tell your family you were going somewhere else, and that's not where you went.
Yeah. So then, of course, when he was like, "Oh, they're leaving," and he pulls her over, and like he even frames him later on and gets like pot in the van and all that. Is like he's just not a good police chief. Like what the hell? So we got the couple who later get dragged into taking Chucky and Tiffany, on a road trip. But Tiffany, brings Chucky back. I think HBO and Netflix has a bunch of services. What the Child's Play, HBO, and Netflix has them a bunch of
The
services.
only ones I found streaming is the original and the remake, which are both on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are streaming, but they're not free. They're not on Netflix or anything.
You could check
But
Voodoo too. That might be on because there's some free stuff on there, and there was on Prime, I think. But,
yeah, I tried looking so I wouldn't have to mess with putting the disc in. So I
Mhm.
tried to look see if there's stuff streaming. The only ones I found without like doing an extensive deep dive, but the only ones I found were the original and the remake.
Mhm.
And all the other ones was not, at least not for free. You'd have to pay for it, but it wasn't for free.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Tiffany hired a police officer to get the evidence.
Netflix is definitely not $5 a month. I pay $17.99, and
I think
honestly,
that was
well,
something
that's
like
because my mom. I basically only have it because of my mom. But she signs into literally every device she owns, which made my charge go up. But it's definitely not $5. But
there was like that Netflix in the mail where you could get certain amount of DVDs and then mail them back. I think that's what he was saying. You could mail the DVD. They used to do that. Yeah, I don't think they still do that mail program anymore.
Yeah, they still do the mail program. I don't know if
Oh,
it's still $5 or not, but they still do it.
yeah. Well, I know they went up in everything. It's like, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
that's why
but
so many people share their passwords. Oh, they're trying to knock the passwords. It's like, well, quit raising the prices, or else.
right, yeah. But Hulu is the only one that I found. HBO didn't have any Chucky. Netflix didn't have any Chucky, but Hulu had one in the one in the remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know about the mail-in service because I don't have that. I have the other Netflix, and mine's just kind of high because, like I said, my mom signs into literally every device she owns.
Yeah, I put in the chat. There's somewhere you can go, and they're all on there. So, but yeah, that website will have it. But yeah, I like how that guy that after Tiffany brings back Chucky out of the evidence and sews his face back on and everything.
Her emo little boy
Boy,
toy.
yeah. Yeah, and she had that voodoo book for dummies, and she tried bringing them back, and she thinks it didn't work at first, and then that weird guy came in and pretending that he did a murder, and she recognized, and he's like, oh, yeah, he's trying to like impress her, thinking that he's a killer when he's really not, and what was it later on? Like showed his picture and his real name, and like that was all just like fake, just weird costume just to try to impress her. And that's of course when Chucky rips out his mouth ring and all that and kills him.
But yeah, HBO didn't have it when I checked because I got HBO too. But yeah, HBO, literally the only one I found was those two that was on. I mean, they could have had it on there before, but when I checked, I didn't find it. Unless by chance I missed it because I didn't like super put in a whole lot of time to it. But yeah, the only ones I found were two on Hulu.
Yeah,
but I wasn't super worried because like I said, I own them all. But I
I
put them in my PlayStation to play them because I don't.
Back and forth.
Right. And then if people see me online on PlayStation, they try to get me to like play games, and then so I just get a bunch of messages on top of the screen, and so I try to avoid using my DVDs if I have to. Peacock's got them? Really? I tried looking. I must have missed it. Because I did check Peacock. I must have missed it.
Yeah, that's weird. Peacock, how they're getting like Halloween. That's a weird network to like get stuff. I guess they're getting horror movies on there.
Yeah, Peacock is $5. It has commercials with $5, or you could get it without commercials. It's supposed to be. I think they put a commercial in like the beginning or something like that, or they still have it on the live TV or some crap like that. But for $10, you could get it commercial free, but there's still going to be commercials. I just don't think they break in the movie.
It's probably like prior before they start.
Yeah, I think it's like that. Like I think CBS and something else. CBS, which is Paramount.
Yeah.
And shit, I can't think of the other one that does it. Just searched on the phone. Yeah, Kills didn't have commercials.
Yeah.
But nice. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong because I did look at Peacock, but I think I was looking for the TV series. I might have just put Chucky instead of Child's Play.
Yeah.
So maybe if I would have put Child's Play, I would have found it. But
or else like Bride of Chucky, or like you just put Chucky by itself instead.
Yeah, I just put Chucky in there. I know I did that because that's when I was looking for the TV series, but because I know I checked that one for TV series, but not the movies. But if you go into Google and type in the title, it gives you a list of everywhere that is streaming. But like I said, I didn't deep dive, so there's very good chance that I missed it. But the only ones I found were on Hulu. But if I would have deep dive, I probably would have found it eventually.
I think a lot of people got Peacock just when Kills came out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't think my theater played it. Halloween Kills.
I actually asked Alex about that. Aaron said, since Chucky is a TV show, will there be a Chucky movie soon? I'd asked him when I saw him a few weeks ago in Orlando, I asked him if there was going to be a movie after it or what's going on. And he said right now it's just the TV show. There's nothing planned as of yet. Because I had told him, I was like, I thought I heard something. They might be doing movies, or there was rumor. And he was like, yeah. But he's like, no, it's just the show right now. They're not planning anything else. So
yeah, we're going to get to the series. We're going to talk about that. We're talking about the movies first, then we'll get to the series.
Because the last movie actually continues into the series a little bit, or they'll bring back the characters for that. So, but yeah, so I got it direct from the source. Alex said no, unless he's lying and just doesn't want to tell us, you know.
Unless he's not a part of it and doesn't know, too.
Or that, one of the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's involved in the show, we know, so we'll see. But hopefully he'll have more of a bigger part. I mean, well, I'll get to that later, but but yeah, so yeah, back to Bride, when Tiffany actually lives in the same parking area as Katherine Heigl's boyfriend, and she gets him to take the dead body of the guy that Chucky had killed, helped her lift it into the car. That was funny. It almost popped open too a little bit. She had that, and she's like flirting with a little bit, trying to get him to come over, and he's trying to tell her that he has a girlfriend, and she's talking about her mom again, saying, "Oh, you know, treat her well." It's actually on USA and Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. The Sci-Fi Channel has episode 1 through 3 that you can watch. 4's locked down, but that's how I was able to watch 1 through 3. But if you get this, because I have the Roku, and if you the Sci-Fi Channel app, there is a few things you can watch for free, and they have episode 1 through 3 of Child's Play that you can watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how like there's certain apps how like when you have the Roku or Fire Stick or whatever, and if you don't have that service, they have certain episodes, but you can't go back or you can't watch more. They have like certain things for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to go and like enter in some code or whatever. But since we don't have cable, there's like no sense. Maybe if we had cable, I could do it, but we don't have cable. But
yeah, if you have cable, then they let you sign on to it because you're paying for cable, so they give you the digital option as well. It's like, well, why have that if, it's like, we want to make it cheaper, people. We don't want cable.
So. Still, we pay for all the streaming services.
It's kind of worth it, though.
Depends on what's on them, but yeah.
But if there's certain channels, or you can pay for the streaming services, get an antenna, and get all the local channels if you want TV. So, but so then Tiffany thinks that Chucky was going to propose to her because he found the ring, and he's like, "Oh, I was going to sell that. It was worth $6,000 or some price like that." And she gets upset because she thought, she loves Chucky and thought they were going to get married, and he ends up killing her while she's taking a bath, tosses it on the TV and puts her in a doll that she had bought to make fun of him. Like, oh, here's your wife. If these streaming services less than cable streaming services are like 5 to 10, here to 10. Depending on what services, I mean, I don't know which ones are 5. I kind of like to know that.
Right. And there a lot of them are between 5 to 10, but then you gotta like, oh, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, so they add up.
They do add up. If you get every single one, it could be more.
Right. And we have pretty much all of them.
It's still cheaper than cable.
But yeah, we have a lot of them.
I think we were talking about Netflix. That's probably one that would probably be last on my choice. Like, they don't have anything good, really. I mean, they have a few original shows.
They have a few.
But all their movies are like old movies, and they're like, oh, coming to Netflix, Jurassic Park. Like, what? New Silence of the Lambs. Like,
they do have a new Jurassic Park thing, but it's a cartoon.
No, but I'm saying, for example, like when they say new movies are coming out that month,
right, yeah.
They're all old movies that we've already seen from like 90s.
For the most part, yeah. And every now and then they'll have a new one that, like the Squid Games. It's not a movie, but it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, that got put on there.
Yeah.
But trying to think of what else has been on there.
I just think they need a wider selection. I think they don't have enough, in my opinion.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't even have Netflix if it wasn't my mom using my account. But I usually don't watch it unless something popular comes out. If something popular comes out that everybody's talking about, like I wasn't originally going to watch Squid Games, but I heard everybody talking about it. Then I seen people was trying to get it like taken down because some BS shit. So I was like, well, I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I might. I don't know. So I've watched so much as it is. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
I actually started.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
It's got the dude from Train to Busan, the dad.
Oh, okay.
He's not in it a lot, but he is in it.
Okay. So, but anyway, where'd I leave off here? So, of course, Chucky makes Tiffany a doll, and it's funny because once they're there, they want to get back into a human body, so they leave a note, and Tiffany calls the boyfriend, Katherine Heigl's boyfriend, she'll pay him $500 to come pick up the doll. It can't be mailed, so he thinks he can use this money, and he wants to marry his girlfriend. And let's see. Yeah, Tiffany as a doll was funny. I like how she changed her style. She made her hair black and everything, painted her nails. Yeah.
Other way around. She went from black to blonde.
Yeah, there's the blonde, I meant, yeah. I was saying the nails and stuff, but yeah, you know what I mean. Black, blonde, whatever. Half black.
Yeah, she's like blonde. Barbie eats her heart. Barbie eat your heart out. I like that part. But yeah, I really like Tiffany. I thought she brought a really good, like, I can't think of what word I want to use. Dynamic to the movies.
Having their little love.
Gave Chucky a run for his money for sure. Yeah.
So then, so he picks up the dolls, and he tells her he wants $1,000, 500, and then 500 when he gets there. And so he goes to pick up his girlfriend, the police chief's daughter, and wants to marry her. And it's funny when they're talking, he's like, I love you, I'll do anything. And Tiffany's all like, oh, they're in love. And Chucky's just like, so they think they're getting away. And then, of course, the chief of police is after them, and he wants to frame them. So he follows them down, and where he gets some pot and opens up the van, wants to frame them. And Tiffany and Chucky are like, don't want to be caught because they want to keep going on this strip. And so they set up like some nails on it and pull it down, shoot him in the face, and they think he's dead. And they put him in the seat, opens up in the van. And so now they're traveling with the dolls and a potential dead body, and they don't know about this yet. So they stop at Tiffany made Chucky relatable, and that's why I like the movie so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
They just wanted to kill each other, just like every relationship. Or as Dane Cook likes to call a relationship. But so they stop to get gas and everything, and they're followed by that cop, of course, again, and he finds it, and he's all like, this is bullshit, and Katherine Heigl's like went off, and so Chucky sets his car on fire, puts the gas in there as he's looking up whatever, trying to call the chief, and the car blows up while they're there, and people think that they're the killers because the cop that Tiffany killed, comes up, and so they're on the run now of what's going. They're being hunted down, and they're not really the killers, and they kind of suspect each other at first too. Like, someone's like, "What's going on here? Have you talked to your uncle?" And they're trying to talk to their friend also, who's like, "What's going on?" And they had gotten married on the way, and they stop at the honeymoon suite hotel where they run into this other couple that comes in. I don't know if they had just got married, but they were a team, and they end up, like robbing them and everything. And Tiffany spots it and saying, so she wants to go and kill them because they're robbing their money. And that's when the last kill drops it down on them, which they use that sort of kill later on in Cult of Chucky too. They kind of reuse it. So when they find out, and it's funny, and I didn't know, I totally forgot it was her, but as I was rewatching it, the maid that finds the dead bodies, that's Kathy and Jimmy from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Kathy and Jimmy. I didn't realize that, and I had just seen her a few weeks ago, and I would have had her sign that movie, because even though it was a small part, like, hey, who's gonna sign? That's rare. Who's gonna have her sign
Right?
Bride of Chucky? But oh well.
Yeah, I like when Tiffany does that to the couple, and Chucky's just in awe, and he just looks at Tiffany and goes, "I love you."
And when they decide to get married. Yep. Oh. When they have sex later on, it's like, you had a rubber? Like,
I made a rubber.
Like, oh, I thought you were plastic. Which leads into little Glenda later on. But
yeah.
So they're hunted down, and then, of course, the chief, he isn't dead yet, and they end up killing him while they're being chased, and their friend ends up hooking up with him later on and telling us, like, look, you called me, and I'm convinced, because they're still thinking they, killed one of them as a murderer, and the friend ends up finding the dead body in there, and he pulls out a gun and tells them to pull over. And they're like, what's going on? They're freaking out, and he thinks they're the killer. And there's a police officer not too far right in the highway there. And as he runs into the road, he gets slammed by a semi truck. So he gets killed.
Yeah.
There. And, Chucky and Tiffany, reveal that they're alive, and making them speed out of there. Trying to get him to go to the graveyard where Charles has his amulet buried. It was on his body, and he needs that to transfer the bodies into them, and they want to use that couple for their bodies.
Except he never needed that amulet before this movie.
Which was weird. I don't know why he needed that. I didn't get the reason for that.
Yeah. I don't know either. But yeah, for some reason, all of a sudden, for this one, he needed that amulet.
Maybe to reverse it again or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I really like Bride. I know a lot of people hate on the sillier ones, but I think it had a lot more fun kills in this one. Mm-hmm. And just like Aaron said, made Chucky more relatable. Having somebody to partner in crime. But yeah, I really liked it.
And then later on, after they change the vehicles, they pick up that RV with that couple, and they're killed. And Tiffany's cooking for them, and that's when they try to turn Chucky and Tiffany against each other, saying, "Oh, she should do or he should help with the dishes," and they get him to start arguing, and knocks her out the window. And the other police and stuff, finally track him down at the graveyard. There is that one cop, but they're digging up the body, and he's kind of freaked out when he sees his body, trying to get the amulet. And Tiffany, realizes that, they deserve to be dead and whatever, and they're fighting. they're doing their last fight, and she was burned in the oven of that RV or wherever they were fighting, trapped her in, chucked this kid out the window. So she's all burned up. And then the cop who was on the case, thinking that, they're part of the cause of the murders that are going on, sees what's going on with Chucky when Chucky's down in the grave. And when I believe that's when he said he'd be back, but dying is a bitch. I said that line. That's when he was killed in his own grave again. And the cop, after they run off, it ends. He finds Tiffany, and the baby comes out, and that's how it continues until the seed of Chucky. So now we got to Glenn, the gender fluid, trans, whatever. Later on, couldn't make up his mind. He was didn't know if he was a boy or a girl, but he knows he was made in Japan.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. If I remember correctly, didn't he put a thing around his head? And I might be mixing up with another movie too. But yeah, where you thought he was made in Japan, even though those toys were not made in Japan. So I don't know why they put that in there. Maybe to make a little joke for him being, because Glenn at the time, he was Glenn, was confused about where he came from and whatnot.
He didn't know his parents.
Just to throw a little joke in there.
Yeah, he was talking about how he didn't know his parents, and he was having dreams though of killing people, and
right.
And some guy was using him as a ventriloquist dummy, and he called him shit face. That was his name. He just called him shit face. And he was always wetting himself and everything, like he was just so scared of everything. And he sees Tiffany and Chucky on TV, they're making a movie of what's going on, or the urban legend of Charles Lee Ray. So this one is basically taking place, in Hollywood. They're making a movie of what's going on, and the person who was doing that animatronics was doing Chucky and Tiffany doing an interview. So Chucky's talking, even though it was really, they're not alive yet. So
yeah.
But he sees them, and he sees their little Made in Japan on there, and he's like, "Mommy, Daddy." So he goes, tries to track them down.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh. There's a little bit more jokes in this one. This one I'm not super fond of, but I don't think it's it's probably the worst out of the whole set of series, but it's not stupid bad.
Right. You got Redman was in it, or which one was it? Was it Method Man? Redman?
I think it was Method Man.
Method Man was in it, yeah. That's right. Method Man was in it.
And when the one that I think he was Glenn at the time, dumped acid on, wasn't he the guy from American Horror Story Hotel?
No, that was John Waters.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a brief clip of it, and the clip I saw, it was just as the acid got him, so I didn't get to see his face that well. But I thought it was the guy from Hotel, the one that cross-dressed.
No, it wasn't Dennis. So Dennis O'Hare. No, it sort of looked like him, but that was John Waters, who was the paparazzi, and it was actually an accident when he was killed, because he got pushed, or he freaked out, and Chucky is all proud because he wanted to have a father-son, because they're boy. But
I only got to see a brief clip of that scene, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks like him, But yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole movie. Maybe if I had a better look at his face, I would have. But the brief clip I saw, I was like, I think that's the guy from American Horror Story.
It kind of looked like him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
They had so he found them in the studio. They were about to be worked on. Jennifer Tilly comes in after the murder and everything, but while he's in there, he actually has that amulet, and then he was trying to talk to them. He's all like, "Mommy," and they're just all quiet. He's like, "Oh, it's because of my looks," and blah 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 or whatever. And so he reads the back of the amulet, and that's when they come to life. And he's like, "Oh," and they're talking to him, and he goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Shit face," and she's like, "That's not even Chucky's life." He's like, "Can you imagine this kid's parents? How fucked up he is," and not realizing it. And then he shows him that, and they realize, and he's all like, "Oh," he freaks out. But it's just funny how he's making fun of him the whole time, and then he realizes, it's his son.
Right. Yeah, Chucky does try to be the best dad he can be for how Chucky is. He does try.
He wants his son to be a killer, like, and when they look at him, there's nothing. He's like, boy, girl. Like Glenda. Go back and forth. And then, of course, he freaks out when Tiffany's going to be worked on the guy because there was some issues on the animatronics of it in the movie, and the guy working on the set opens up Tiffany, and then you see like because they were brought back, and you know how they're like part human a little bit or whatever. And so they cut off his head, it flies off, and Glenn pisses his pants. He doesn't know what's going on, that they're killers. And Jennifer Tilly comes in because she had hit a candy bar in Chucky because she was like supposed to be on a diet or whatever, and she had like a good bar or something in there. She comes in and she picks up the head, and she thinks at first it's like a prop. She's like, oh, it's so realistic. And then she finds out someone's murdered on the set, and her limo driver, she like flirts with him, and he's trying to tell her that he loves her and all that. And what was it? Method Man was doing a movie with the Virgin Mary, and she was going to play the Virgin Mary, and her assistant thought that was kind of funny at first. And so she thinks if she invites Method Man over, and like sleeps with him, she'll get the part. And while Tiffany and Chucky are there, they plan, it's funny how like Tiffany's saying how she likes her voice of an angel because it's her voice she plays.
Right. Yeah. They get so meta in that movie. I'm surprised they didn't have like Brandon play like a character as well.
Yeah, that was funny. So they end up, of course, that paparazzi guy who you're talking about with the acid and all that. He's like watching this, and he sees Chucky because Tiffany like doesn't. They want to get a body for Glenn. Of course, she doesn't want to be pregnant again, so they're gonna like get Jennifer Tilly pregnant with a baby. So, of course, Chucky, he gets some help from her. It's funny how she like flashes him, and then he's looking at the magazines to try to get all excited, and then he finds that Fangoria magazine. It has a zombie. He's like, oh yeah. So John Waters' character, who's looking and taking pictures, he just sees the shadow of like Chucky jerking off in the back. And he's like, God bless the little people or bitches, and he doesn't realize that Tiffany, that they're all killers, and
right.
He thinks he's getting this money shot with Method Man, and they're hooking up with her, and they end up going after him, and that's when Chucky's like wants his guy night with Chucky or with Glenn to try to make him a killer just like he is. And
follow the family line.
Exactly. And
family business.
Exactly. And he promised not to kill Pryor up. They're having that whole discussion. He's got his fingers crossed, and so he wants to go take Glenn because he's a killer. It's not an addiction. And Tiffany wants to try to be like, stop killing. Hey, we can go cold turkey. Stop killing this. No killing whatsoever. And he accidentally, when they're at the Glenn drives the pedals or works the gas, and he's telling him to go faster. And it's funny because Britney Spears is like starts to pass him, and he runs her off the road, and he's like, oops, I did it again.
I forgot about that part that you mentioned it.
And then of course we find out Tiffany kills Method Man, and Chucky doesn't know that she's going through, and she even calls like a number of, she's trying to like get the steps, 12-step program, not going through. So.
And she like calls like it, she calls like somebody's wife that she murdered.
Yeah, the husband. She calls, or the wife of the husband that she murdered.
Yeah, because the cop that she killed, and I think Bride, she calls like his wife and tries to get amends.
I like how Tiffany asks for the autograph. That's funny. From Jennifer, who wanted the autograph. And she like passes out.
Self-serving
Britney Spears. Yep, Britney Spears got killed and he ran her off the road.
Yeah, I forgot about that part till you mentioned it. Yeah, and now you mentioned that. I remember that. That was funny. Yeah, Seed is a fun movie, but out of all of them, I would say it's probably the worst out of the series, but it's not like, it's just one of the fun movies that they have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's meant, that one is just totally meant to be cheesy like that.
Yeah, it was. It was meant to make fun of itself.
And then when he goes, once he sees the bodies again, and Glenn and Glenda, and he becomes like Glenda, and he kills someone, and Chuck doesn't realize it, and then they realize how crazy he's going because he's like freaking out. He doesn't know what to do anymore, so he just becomes a killer himself.
Yeah, because the female part of him is a sadistic killer, and like the male side of him is this timid
right
guy. So when he goes to his female version of himself, the Glenda, he's just a murderous rampage.
And then how it ends though with her having the kids, and she has two of the kids, and they're taken away. Of course, Jennifer Tilly becomes
right.
Tiffany, and it goes to the future, and they have the twins, and that's at the birthday party, and it has the arm of Chucky and everything after that. And it's funny because it shows the kid his eye twitching, like kind of how he was as a doll. And we see that the female, the sister, is the sadistic one that kills. I don't know if it was the maid or whatever it was, but then it leads up to Cult of Chucky, or Curse of Chucky. I'm sorry.
Is it Curse?
Yeah, Curse is after that. And we got
this one has Brad Dourif's daughter in it.
Brad Dourif's daughter, yeah, Fiona. So, who is she was born handicapped, which we find out later on in the movie why she was born that way. But a doll is mailed to her house. Let's see, really good movie. So the Curse you're talking about, I'm assuming. So yeah, Chucky's sent to the house. Her mom, I guess they're her sister and family comes later on, but I guess they're semi-rich. I mean, they're not like billionaires or anything, but they live in a really big house, and her mom is an artist, and she's very protective over her daughter. And there's a package that's delivered to the mail, and it's a Chucky doll, or a good guy doll, that was sent to her mom, and she's not really sure why. They figure it's just a mistake. And of course, Chucky kills the mother. Her family comes, and we find out the connection of why Chucky was sent to this house. Anything you want to say before we get into there?
No, go ahead. I'll spot off if I remember something, but as of right now, you're good.
Okay. So, yeah, once the mother is killed off, her sister comes in and is trying to convince her to, since now they both own the house, they want to put her into like some living area that can help her out because, she's handicapped, and she does have some problems, I guess, with her heart if she's overexcited. And, she has to be like, she's got some medicine that she's inserted, which comes into play later on as well. And she even brings the priest that they knew as a child, trying to get her back into religion and everything. And she had left the church, and ends up inviting them all to dinner. And she has a niece that, of course, ends up, she gives Chucky at first before she realizes what's going on, all the weird stuff that's going on. And the mom of the daughter, the sister, is even having an affair with the nanny and everything. So it's like a crazy family situation. They're not, the husband and wife aren't getting along, and they're trying to convince her to sell at first, and because how's she going to take care of herself? And at dinner they have she makes some like vegetarian chili because they're having money issues, and that's why she wants to sell. The sister wants her to sell the house, and she wants to do it for her daughter. And Nika, who is Brad Dourif's daughter in real life, but she's the main character in this one, is making dinner, and Chucky puts rat poison in one of the dishes, and you don't know, it gets mixed up, and it just shows him serving at the table, and you don't know which one is going to have it. If it's the daughter, at one point you think it's the daughter. I think I want to say, was her name Caroline? That I could be wrong, but she's saying how it tastes funny, and her mom makes her eat it, and we're like, okay, you think the daughter got the bowl, but it turns out the minister did, and he ends up leaving, and he's in a car accident, and he gets decapitated in the car accident. I don't know if you remember that part or not.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I do kind of remember the chili part, but I didn't remember that part.
Yeah. And of course, Chucky's kind of friendly at first, just like how he was with Tyler in the third one with her.
Yeah,
she's thinking,
he does that with everybody. He's like a manipulator. He makes you think he's a good guy, and then ends up not being that.
Mm-hmm. I like the kills how the wife at one point, while she was in bed with her husband, is like FaceTiming, or talking webcam, whatever, not FaceTime, whatever at that time that they were talking on the computer, with the nanny, and Chucky ends up electrocuting her, everything while they were all talking. And once, the dad, they're even watching a video, and they see Charles Lee Ray in the background of their childhood, and she was like, who's that? And because he looked kind of creepy, and so we find out the connection a little bit later on. But the girl, she's looking for Chucky, and he's moving around the house, and the husband, he knew something was going on with the wife, so he actually put like a little nanny spy cam in Chucky. so it's cool. Later on, we see him watching a live view of it, of Chucky tying her up and everything. But he thinks at first that she's committing these murders, and she's trying to tell him that it's Chucky. He killed, of course, the sister. He was like, oh, you have your mother's eyes, and he stabbed her right in the eye and going down the stair. And so she's got blood on her, and she gets blamed for the murder at first, and the husband's like asking, where's my daughter, has her tied up, and she keeps trying to say that it's Chucky, and he's watching the live cam, and comes up, and he ends up getting killed by Chucky. Chucky tells her, we find out how he knew her mother, like he was kind of like obsessed with her, and he had like wanted to like marry her. He was with her, he had kidnapped her, and he was like trying to keep her prisoner. And she was the one who told the police of what was going on, and he was all mad, and he was like, well, he wanted to be a family, and I guess he had killed the father, or like he had drowned or something happened, but I guess he had something to do with it because he was obsessed with her and the older sister, and he wanted to be a family. And when she was pregnant, the mom, he had, I guess, stabbed her or whatever, and that's what happened to her as a child. It stabbed her, and it went to Nika, and that's why she was paralyzed. She finds all this out, and that's why he waited all those years to get revenge on the mother, because she was the one that reported him, and that's when he was being chased by the cops into the toy factory and all that. So it had like a little flashback scene to that, and that was the connection to that. So it's a whole backstory in this one. We learn a lot about his past,
right?
And it just ends up in this one, Chucky murders everybody except the daughter, and she gets arrested for the murder that Chucky just put the blame on her. And she's in court, and she gets blamed for the murders and put into a sane asylum. And she's like, I forget what she said to him. She was like cussing Chucky out as she's being taken away. So that'll lead on into Cult of Chucky. Also in the end of this one, you got a promo DVD there.
Yeah, I think it's from a Black Friday sale.
I was going to say Black Friday sale.
Yeah, I just never opened it.
I was like, that looks like a Walmart promo. That's what we
sounds like it's off its thing.
So
it's loose.
But I like how in the ending of this one,
because Alex is in this one.
Yeah. Actually, I think there was two. I forget. I know she had entered. Yeah, there's actually two like little endings to it. The daughter um, gets a package, of course, and Chucky goes into her soul. So
Yeah.
he becomes the little girl. That's when we find. Yeah, it's weird. There's like a couple different Chuckies. So we're like, what's going on with all these Chuckies? But we'll find out in Cult. How there's more than one Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's all of them, but he put his soul into multiple bodies, and
Yeah,
he's
he somehow figured out how to take over more than one doll.
exactly, yeah. And then it also went to Alex Vincent when it was sent to him, and he's talking to his mom on the phone. So I kind of hope they bring his mom back in the TV show. That'd be interesting, even just like a little part. I mean, But so that's picks up the package. Chucky cuts his way out looking for Andy, and Alex Vincent has a shotgun at him and shoots him, and that's the end of that one.
Yeah, he had his own little Chucky head that he was torturing and playing
He's torturing. Yeah, in Cult of Chucky. So he's got his own Chucky that he gets his own little revenge and torture on. Because he in the beginning of Cult, he's like on a date. I guess it was a blind date, and the woman
with the redhead of all things.
Yeah. Multiple Chuckies. I'll have to watch that movie. Yeah, multiple Chuckies. That's what I had. I don't know if you saw it or not, but in the Facebook group for the little promo, I took a picture of Nika in the wheelchair. There's 3 Chuckies standing up, and one of them has like a bad haircut, which is funny. It's like, hey, maybe it's the guy from number 3.
Yeah, well, actually, Alex did that because he sends one into the asylum that has
a gun
in it. But he cuts his hair so he could tell them apart.
Yeah, he did that intentionally so he could have.
So one's got kind of a buzz cut.
Yeah, so when he's on the date, I guess he liked her. So maybe it wasn't a first blind date. I don't know, because he said he didn't tell her because he liked her, but she found out about his past with. He's telling how when he was 6, his babysitter was murdered, and how his foster parents were killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of freaks out and she just leaves him, and he's just there sitting by himself, drinks the wine. And
yeah, you would think if she would have like researched him and Googled him, that she would just not showed up. She would have just ghosted him. But no, she actually shows up to the date.
Yeah, so it was probably it probably wasn't a blind date, because I think they probably gone out before, because she's like, why didn't you tell me? And he was like, I liked you. So that's probably why.
But unless they were like chatting online or something beforehand, and that was like their first actual meetup, but we don't know.
But either way, like if she, like you said though, if she Google him, be like, nope, peace out.
Yeah, shit. If I would have like Googled somebody and found out they had a lot of like murders in their background, but to be fair, if because technically 2 of my boyfriends, past boyfriends, are gone. They're passed away. So if somebody would like. But my name's not really connected to both of them. But yeah, I could be viewed kind of that way too.
You killed them both. Okay. You're a Black Widow.
Right.
So, but yeah, he goes home and we see Chucky's head, that he's got the one that he blew the shotgun from the prior movie. And it's kind of funny because he starts smoking, and Chucky asks for a hit of that, and he gives it to him, and he acts like he's going to bite him. He's like, oh, so you want to play? And he gets the blowtorch, and he's like blowing the side of his head.
Yeah. Yeah, he was having a little intimate moment there for Chucky till he tried to scare him. Then it's like, oh, more torture time for you.
Yeah. Was around, and I don't think he knew just yet about the multiple Chuckies yet.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
Not right away, no. But then he did. He heard about it once there were more incidents going on at the mental hospital. Nika gets transferred to. She's like at a security one at first, like a more priority security. But I guess the psychiatrist she was with, she went ahead and was like, takes the blame that, yeah, she's the killer and she made it up, or Chucky wasn't real. And she doesn't know why she's thinking maybe because she was jealous of her sister and she blames herself, and she's taken responsibility for the murders, even though it really wasn't her. But that just makes more sense than saying, "Hey, kill her doll." So
right, and then Tiffany shows up and gives her really bad news and the doll. And I don't remember if that's before or after what happens, what you're talking about, but then just bluntly tells her that her niece is dead.
Yeah, she didn't find that out till the second visit or later on.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Aren't you Jennifer Tilly?" She goes, "No, but I get that all the time."
It's like, yeah, she is Tilly. And they even mentioned, I forget if it's this one or the next one, but when Chucky was talking about the families and he mentions the Tillys, he said Tilly. He's like naming. After Halloween. Okay. Cool. It's like, just leave it up after Halloween. Halloween can stay up all year.
Yeah, our neighbor, because I took down our Halloween decorations and I left the spikes out there so I could put Christmas stuff. Well, actually, I was going to put a turkey out there for Thanksgiving and then do Christmas. But our neighbor went and took my spikes of like the power outlets out of our yard today and put them up on my steps. I'm like, fucker. Yes, I have an inflatable turkey.
That doesn't sound right.
But yeah, I wasn't too happy when I saw that. I haven't put them back in the ground yet, but I'm like, oh fucker, stay over yard.
Yeah. But yeah, so since we got the multiple Chuckies in here, because there's also one that the psychiatrist, he has a good guy doll just to like show for therapy. One of the guys there has multiple personalities as it is anyway. And at one point he even hooks up with Nika too. Yeah, hey, what else to do in a crazy place but have sex with other psycho patients, right? Let's see, Halloween decorations can be used as Thanksgiving decorations. Yes, pumpkins, pumpkin pie. Yeah, why not? So, and so of course, stuff starts going on there. There, and the one woman, she takes the Chucky, the original, well, not the original Chucky, but the first one before the one that Jennifer Tilly sent with her as her. She was there because she had killed her own baby, and she thinks that Chucky is her baby, so she's carrying him around and treating him like a baby, and at one point even nurses him, and there's like blood after her, and she's just all crazy. And Nika's trying to convince them that he's alive, and the one woman in the group, I don't know I guess she was probably a self-harmer at one point, because when Chucky bit her, she tried to get rid of Chucky, and she found out it was alive. He bit her, and she's trying to tell the doctor, the psychiatrist, that, hey, Chucky's real, look. And they're like, what did you do to yourself? So they tie her down. And that's the one where I was talking about the glass from, Bride of Chucky, how they sort of had that. He found an oxygen, compressed oxygen, shot it up glass, decapitated the mental patient. And then we find out, like, the doctor, he hypnotized her and put those thoughts into her head. And Chucky's like, oh, people say I'm a creep. And
I know, right?
And I guess he also, they didn't really show it, but I guess they kind of implied he probably like took advantage of her too while she was hypnotized, I guess, or whatever. Was saying, talk about the other sessions. After I talk about Chucky movies, could you guys rank them? I'd like to see how you guys rank them. Yeah, I guess we can rank them too. So then we find out that Chucky was alive too, and they're all together. So. And Andy, he knows what's going on. So as he was saying, he sent that doll in with the haircut. And it's funny because they know Andy's on his way. How when they're talking about killing him, they're like, oh, what are you talking about? You were sucking on her tit. I'll kill him. And they're like, yeah, look at what happened to me. And then another one said, well, look at my hair. Oh, no, fuck, you win. You can fuck him up. His hair. So they're just like, don't get me. Like, you can kill him. And Andy gets he committed himself because they wouldn't let him in, so that's how he got the gun in through him. And he's trying to rescue Nika, and it ends up though Nika gets possessed herself by Charles. So And then they leave out, and it continues to the TV show. Later on, Nico will be returned, Jennifer Tilly, and all that. So that's pretty much end of Cult there. We find out they're on the loose. Jennifer Tilly, they're just gonna continue their murderous rampage.
Yeah, and there are more dolls at the end that Jennifer Tilly's like sending out to people. I might be thinking of it wrong too, because it's been a while since I've seen Cult, unless I'm remembering a scene wrong.
She did send out in the prior one, she sent the doll out to the girl. This one had with Kyle came back and said that Andy had sent her.
Okay. I was thinking, I like I said, I probably got it mixed up, but I was thinking at the end of, I want to say it was Colt or something like that she was packaging up more than one doll and sending them out, but I'm probably remembering the scene wrong. It's been a bit since I've seen it.
No, that was that. This one ended with Kyle coming back to the Chucky head that was in the cabin there. And then, so of course the Nika as Charles and Tiffany as Tilly, going out, and we'll be actually. I think they're supposed to be back. I saw on Instagram and Facebook. Alex had shared, and then they had done their own Instagram saying how they're going to be on Tuesday's episode of Chucky, so they're going to be back in some capacity. So we'll see Nika and Charles, Nico. We'll see this Chica. Chica on Tuesday. So we'll see. So, as for ranking them, I probably have to say the first one first, second, those two first. Let's see. Would I put 4 before 3? I might just put them in pretty much the order that they're in. Much.
Basically.
I think pretty much the order that they were in.
Except for Seed. Seed, I want to put dead, at least my ranking. Mm-hmm. Seed, I want to put dead last, and even above the remake.
Well, the remake will be the last one for me. Yeah.
But I want to put Seed all the way at the end. My thing's broken. Sorry, my DVD was loose. But yeah, I'd probably go, normal route. I don't know. I kind of like Bride of Chucky, so I maybe do. If I don't really remember 2 and 3, so
I might do Bride before 3. I mean, 3 was okay. I guess it had its moments, but
I would agree. Bride before 3.
Yeah,
and then these two, however, which way for these, the Cult and Curse.
Yeah,
and then. But yeah, I'm definitely going to put Seed behind the remake. I really do like this remake. So,
yeah, I mean, if they didn't call it that,
exactly. I like it for its concept. The doll should have been changed. The doll looks horrible.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie on that. I will not argue on that point whatsoever. The doll looks absolutely ridiculous,
and it was programmed to be evil. It's not. It's not even a possessed doll, so it's like.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with. It's more realistic. This is more realistic than those because voodoo. Technically, voodoo is real, but you're not going to actually possess a doll and make it kill. This could actually happen.
An AI going crazy, yeah.
Right. He takes, and all the other electronics that he ends up taking over, like the car. He takes over a car. He takes over like a whole shopping center full of stuff. And there's just a murderous rampage of electronics going everywhere. But yeah, I agree. This shouldn't have had the Chucky label on it. And the doll should look better. Yeah. Other than that, I really, really like this movie.
So.
But they could also call him a my buddy instead of a good guy.
Yeah. My buddy.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is honestly more realistic.
Yeah.
But I like the first human kill that Chucky does in the remake.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. That was like probably one of the better kills I've seen out of most of the Chucky movies, where he gets with the Christmas lights and the tiller, or I don't think it's snowmobile, but or not snowmobile, but the snow blower.
Right.
It was either snowmobile or God damn it. You know what the fuck I mean. The snow thingy.
Yeah.
And gets the lights in there and like completely chops off his face because they watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 of all things, and so he thinks, you know, all that stuff because he watches it with the kids and they're all laughing at it, so he thinks that stuff's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he learns wrong, and he doesn't understand good from bad because that's all taken away from him in his programming.
Yeah. And now we got the TV show. So this is the point, if you haven't watched them or you don't want any spoilers, to come back later. Or stick around. Or if you want to like stick around and just turn the volume down, that'd be great. Because we don't really want you to go, but if you don't want to hear it, you know, you could just mute us and just, you know, watch us mime. Whatever we do. Let's see. I'm iffy
on the TV show, doll. It looks better than the remake doll.
Yeah.
And it was either Curse or Cult had a weird looking doll as well. I forget which one it was, but it's better than those. I will say that. Yeah. For ranking of doll wise, say 1 through 3 and Bride and Seed of Chucky, at least all look pretty well the same. But then it was either Curse or Cult. I forget which one it was. It all looks a little weird. And then, of course, the remake, it looks really weird. But this one, it's, I don't know, it's almost like a mixture between the original and like the Cult ones.
But I mean, I like the kills and the story in it, and we learn more about Charles Lee Ray. I mean, I really like how they're doing it so far.
Yeah, they go back to his like child life.
Mm-hmm.
Or childhood, I should say, not child life. That don't make sense.
His child life. His life. We just like to make up words here.
Yeah.
Trying to find a character's name in here because it's brought up later on. When I get to the 4th one episode, they actually mention a name from the actual Child's Play original movie, which I didn't even realize until the second time that I watched it. But anyway, so in the first episode here, we got Jake, who's 14. He's likes taking different dolls that he finds online, thrift stores, wherever he can track them down, and he's making a sculpture out of them, and he ends up finding Chucky at a garage sale, and he talks her down to $10, you know, and he's doesn't know what he's picking up. His dad is, again, another asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's because, you know, his wife died, and he's all, you know, angry. And
then he became an alcoholic.
Yeah. And the guy who plays him, Devin Saw, or however you say his last name, who was in Final Destination, he actually plays both brothers in it. He plays a twin brother, so that's pretty cool because, spoiler alert, you know, the father gets killed off in this, of course, but he stays with his uncle and aunt later on.
One thing I don't really like about this kid, the Jake, the new kid, is he's like making, I like his sculptures. Those are actually pretty cool. But one thing I don't like about him is he's making a big deal about retro versus vintage. I was like, what the hell? Why does it matter? Why argue with the lady at the garage sale about retro versus vintage? It's like, he's like correcting people at the school. I was like, oh my God, just drop it. It's not that big of a thing. I don't know. I just like the only issue I have with him. It's like, stop. It's annoying.
Yeah. And he listens to this kid at school, Devin. He listens to his podcast. The town that they're in, Hackensack, is where Charles Lee Ray grew up. retro is vintage.
Yeah. There's this one thing in the TV series is the main kid, the one that gets Chucky, is saying that there's a difference, and he's like all super annoying about it. And like I said, that's the only thing I don't really like about this. It's just like, Jesus Christ, just stop. It's like,
yeah. So in his family, in this, his cousin, his aunt, his dad's twin brother, of course they're like richer, you know, and he's trying to like push his son to do like sports and everything. And in a way, I mean, they sort of act like they're better and they offer to help him. And Jake's dad is like kind of mad because how his son's being a smart aleck to his, and he's obviously like, they don't flat out say he's gay in this, but I mean, it's obvious he has a crush on the kid Devin and everything, and his cousin.
Yeah, it's pretty well.
It's very important. Well, I mean, his cousin says it's okay to be gay and calls him gay, and his dad's
where I got it from.
But yeah,
he's obviously got a crush on the Devin kid.
Yeah, listening to his podcast and like watching him at school, and but his cousin he was, you know, they're like arguing. He's saying how he should join Eagle Scouts, and he was like, "Oh, they let gays in now," and he's saying, "Oh, it's okay," and his dad, you know, doesn't like that. He's trying to. Earlier on, he was saying how he needs to see his friends, go to the movies with a girl, and you know he does it. And he gets all pissed off, and he's like, he's 13. He doesn't know what he is. So that's, you know, probably after what you heard when his cousin said that, but they don't really, other than that one scene.
Yeah, I guess the kid hasn't really outright said it, but yeah, everybody's, because he gets bullied for it, and you know, his family kind of outcast him for it.
Yeah.
So I just figured it was implied that he was out.
It's implied, but it's not like out like,
right.
He hasn't told Devin that like, oh, I like you, blah blah, or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then of course we got that girl, what's her name, such a bitch, I can't believe I can't remember.
Oh yeah. God, I really hope she gets hers.
Well, actually in the fourth one, like, well, in the third and fourth one, you know, they start to, I mean, she is a bitch the whole way through pretty much, but then you kind of, I mean, she likes her sister and all, and she teams up with Jake later on and everything because she finds out that he tried to kill her or give Chucky the doll. But in this episode though, before, I mean, you know, getting ahead of himself here, but talking about upcoming episodes there. Like she takes a picture because the cousin Junior or whatever was talking to mention how, or rewind, Jake's talking about how he's going to sell Chucky, and she's like, "Oh, you need money? Wasn't that bad?" And she, you know, like tries to start a fund for him and embarrasses him. And one kid throws a quarter at him, and you know, they're just, everybody's making fun of him, and they just make fun for that reason. And his doll, and in the science class, they're dissecting a frog, and he can't do it because of the blood. The kid's like calling him a pussy, and when he turns his head, you know, Chucky cuts it open and puts it right through the heart at one point. Yeah. And he holds on to the teacher. At first, like, I thought she was going to get killed off in the first episode, like after the teacher like closed the door and, you know, was making fun of him. And but they came back before he had a chance to do anything, unfortunately. And we get to a point like, did he kill the cat in the first episode, I think? Or yeah.
I don't know if it was the first one, but it's at least in the first 3 somewhere.
Well, it's 1 or 2 he kills the cat. Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's kind of ironic is, wasn't the cat in the Child's Play movie that was killed, wasn't he orange too? It's like, what is Chucky and orange cats? Like, he just kills orange cats, I guess. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, the remake, he was orange.
So was the TV show.
Yeah.
So I guess Chucky has a thing against orange cats. Yeah, Chucky ends up killing, of course, his dad. And I like how he killed him, though. I mean, that was just like when he had him down in the basement with the electricity, and then he just like throws up right there and gets him to go electrocuted.
Yeah.
That was the only kill. So far, there's only been like 1 kill in every episode, but that's okay though, you know. But
yeah, it's TV series. You don't want to overdo it too much, but they're trying to build up the bond right now between Jake and Chucky.
Yeah. And then after that, when we see the end a little bit, because the way it started out, you see, at first you think it's Chucky going after a victim, but at the end of the movie, or the first episode, not movie, I'm sorry, we see that it's Chucky with his mom in 1968 or whatever. So that was an interesting little flashback. And that's when we first learned that we will be learning more about his history in it.
Yeah.
And of course, Devon's mom is the cop in it. So when they don't know what's going, they assume it's an accident, but they think maybe, he was hit or whatever. Or they kind of suspect him bit by bit later on a little bit.
Yeah, because death seems to like surround him. So she's trying to like ask her son, because she's like, doesn't he like any friends with these people? And he goes, yeah, but he's not really like part of our crowd.
Exactly. I like the talent show. That was great when they were making fun. And so he gets on stage. And Chucky, TV show Chucky what? This might be a difficult question, but his TV show Chucky can't. Do you get that question?
I think he's meaning, is it kind of like the original shows? I mean, at least that's the way I take it. But I kind of think
canon.
Yeah, he means like canon. I don't know how to really describe it, but I think he's talking about how if it's like the original shows. I mean, kind of, because he is trying to manipulate Jake.
Yeah,
like he's
definitely got that sarcasm too to him.
Yeah,
and yeah. But yeah, during the talent show, when he goes up on stage and Chucky's insulting her and going through her phone, like, "Oh, what's she googling? Why farts smell good?" like making fun.
Yeah, I like how he wanted to stand up for Jake, and he's seen everybody picking on him. Yeah. Did I answer your question, Aaron? Make sure I was.
Yeah.
Who voices Chucky in the TV series? It is Brad Dourif.
Yeah.
The only time it is not Brad Dourif is in the remake when it's Mark Hamill. And I know everybody likes to hate on the remake, but Mark Hamill actually does a very good voice, in my opinion. But I really like the remake, so I'm not one of those haters that just because it's a remake hate it. And it can use improvements on the movie, but
yeah, Brad Dourif is back, so yeah. So that's cool. Like everybody's, I mean, we even hear Andy calls him because while he's looking online, like wanting to sell the doll, I guess Andy came across it and he calls him and asks if anything's been going on with Chucky. Did you check his batteries?
Thank you. Another person who likes the remake.
So, hey, Mike. I didn't realize you had come in. All right, yeah. It's I heard that Hamill is a bad person or something, or a bad coworker. I haven't heard of him.
I've never heard of that, but who knows? But I don't know anything about that. But I know he does a really damn good voice for Chucky. So. That's all I can tell you. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got Andy who calls him saying about check the batteries, and then like the call cuts off. So, but hopefully he'll be coming in within the next couple episodes. I mean, like I said, Tuesday, next episode, Nika and Tiffany are supposed to be back.
He's heard he's wonderful to work with. And maybe he just had bad days. Who knows? It depends where you heard it from, too. Tell you this right now. If you heard it from the Twitterverse, do not always believe it. Do not believe anything from the Twitterverse. People will badmouth people just for the fun of it on Twitter. So if you see it on there, I wouldn't believe it. But if you see like more like reputable like articles or something like that going on about it, believe it a little bit more. But if it's just on the Twitterverse, mark it as a rumor, and it is more than likely 90% wrong.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward for the next episode Tuesday to finally have Nika and Tiffany back, and probably the one after that. I know Kyle's supposed to be coming back as well, so probably going to have some actually see them somehow confronting each other in human form. Actors on
Channels it on.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi and USA has the new TV series. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Aaron, that you heard it from Twitter. Yeah, definitely. When you hear something from Twitter, definitely research it, because the people on Twitter are horrible. Depends on where you do it, but the people on Twitter are horrible. They like to start rumors and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, if you hear it from stuff like that, research it a little bit more before. But I'm not saying that, I'm just saying to like look for it. I'm not trying to say, like, accuse you of going along with it or anything, but yeah, definitely you can't believe everything from the Twitterverse. The only time I'm on Twitter is if I'm like chatting on, like, if I share something to my page, or if I'm talking to, like, there's certain groups that are good, like the Joe Bob group,
right?
I talk to, but you got to be careful there.
So, yeah. So then, in the second episode, it's a Halloween episode, and one kid, Oliver, after like the talent show, he invites them. His parents are going out of town for a Halloween party, so they want to do a Halloween party, and of course, Junior's bitch girlfriend, yeah, she actually ends up dressing up as his dad being electrocuted, and does this in front of everybody.
Yeah, and I don't care. I would have smacked that bitch. I don't even get along with my family all that well. I would have smacked that bitch.
That's, yeah. I couldn't believe that.
I can't believe that he ends up working with her later on. I would have say, fuck you, deal with Chucky on your own.
Well, Chucky's trying to persuade Jake to become a killer. Like, if you push people far enough, anybody can kill.
Yeah.
Also in this episode, while he's out of the house, we got the second death that goes on. The live-in maid, I guess that raised Junior too, or through since he was a kid. While she's doing the dishes, pulls out the knives, and they have the knives up. Let's see. That's happy stuff. Can't post happy stuff on Twitter. No, unfortunately not.
This kind of depends on who you follow. Block the people you don't want to talk to and just move on.
Exactly.
I don't block people, but yeah, I've never had a bad thing, but it depends on who you kind of follow.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good kill when the knives, and he came down and pushed her into the knives right through the throat.
Right, yeah, that was a good one.
And of course, the second accident is now more suspicion is even going on with Jake. And no matter where he goes, somewhere someone dies.
Yeah, she starts catching on that death is following him, so of course she suspects him.
And of course, Chucky wants to help Jake, get his revenge off, because of her making fun of him and all that. And it's funny, he actually mentions Glenn. He's like, I have a gender fluid.
Right, yeah, he mentions Glenn. Yeah, I like how he does it too. He's like, but Jake, I'm not a monster. Because he's like, do you actually like and accept your kid? And he's like, Jake, I'm not a monster.
Yeah, just a killer. But
yeah.
I mean, it does go back a little bit to his childhood too. He's talking about his first kill. It shows him at a birthday party, and later on, I forget if it's in the third episode. I'll just go ahead about Charles, history a little bit, and some of it is in the fourth episode. But it just even shows his parents getting killed by some killer that there was back when he was a kid, and he sees his dad getting killed, and him and his mom run up the stairs. And they're in the closet, and he ends up killing his own mom. And he's like, I helped. Damn. Listen, he's talking about how he was, born. Some monsters are made and others are born. So yeah. He was basically a killer from birth.
Yeah, he's like, look at me, I helped.
And
I missed that. I don't think was that in 3 or 4?
Probably 3 or the end of 2. It was before the other party.
I remember them running upstairs, but I don't remember him killing the mom, so I must have missed that.
It came in. It was like end of the movie I keep saying movie, end of the show. And when the fire was going on, there was it was probably the third episode. But yeah, and the guy tells him, and he ends up saying this later on to another kid. He's like, "You got guts, kid, and you got to cover your tracks." And he wipes the blood off, and so he was a killer. Straight
takes him under his wing.
Well, he already left, but he said, "I'll see you again." He leaves, but he goes, "I'll see you around, kid." So who knows? They might later on meet up again. I'm not sure if they ever did or not. But then we got another party going on, of course, and Chucky's like trying to teach him how to kill, to stalk his victim and everything, and it's kind of funny because as he thinks he's
to run with knives.
Yeah, he's starting to follow. He thinks he's watching her, but it was his cousin had her jacket or her phone or whatever, because he was tracking her going through the same jogging wherever they run through the park or after school or whatever. And what's weird is Junior like tries to act all defensive towards Jake, like to her, but like when he was with the family, like he didn't seem to care. So it's kind of weird, like how he's
it's kind of hard to figure out where he's coming from, because like he's trying to talk his girlfriend out of like kind of bullying him, saying that she's gone too far, but then this family kind of doesn't really like Jake as well, so maybe he's just trying to be the same as the family. Like that way he's not outcast as well.
That's true, because he doesn't like how his father is making him do all this sports and everything, and he's not really that happy. So he's just trying to impress his dad or his family. So that's probably the reason why.
Probably. He don't want to stand up for him there, because right there Jake is the outcast. So if he stands up for him, then he'll be an outcast as well.
Right.
Excuse me. Sorry, my soda gave me hiccups.
And there also her sister, who saw Chucky. She likes Chucky and wants to have that doll. So since he missed out killing her, Chucky was like, "Let's give the bitch what she wants." And so he goes to the house, and the kids have a party without him. Of course, his cousin's over there, and Chucky ends up. He does kill one of the kids. Actually, it was the one who had the Halloween party. Oliver, stabbed him in the back, thinking it was her coming out of the bedroom, because he was going to kill her, and then he ends up all these people coming over, so he's kind of like hide, and he's trying to kill her, but all this stuff is going on.
Yeah, he's like, "Oops, my bad."
And they all got these headphones on, so they can't hear what's going on upstairs. They're all partying.
Yeah, that's the weirdest party ever. They're all wearing headphones, listening to music. I guess they're trying to be quiet. I don't know. I don't know. I was never invited to parties, so I don't know how they are. But that is the weirdest party I've ever seen in a movie or TV show.
I think what it was, they just had somewhere Bluetooth, and they just wanted the music in their ears, and they were just listening.
I don't know. That's my opinion. That's the weirdest party ever.
And that's when Chucky attacks her while they're upstairs, and the house catches on fire in the end of the episode. That was when they did the flashback where Charles had killed his mom. They showed it in the same episode, and he was laughing and all, and the fire. So now she knows.
True. That is true. Well, kids these days party in their phones. That is true. We didn't have phones when I was in school. We had landlines.
Well, hey, you could still strangle with the landline, so Charles would like that. Yeah. But so that kind of leads up into the most recent episode, is like where they team up. It's called Let It Go, I believe it was titled. So now they're or let her go. Well, because what happens? Let's see what we got. I didn't even have a cordless phone.
Well, yeah, we didn't either for the longest time. I don't remember what year we ended up getting a cordless phone, if we got one at all. But shoot, I don't think I had a cell phone until way out of high school. I was probably at least mid-20s by the time I had a cell phone, because they wasn't a thing. They didn't start becoming a thing until like later on, like I don't remember if late 90s people had phones or not. I don't think it was that popular. It's probably like 2000-ish.
Right. But yeah, now they're in the hospital in this one. The youngest sister is on oxygen. She was caught in the fire, and the parents are all, pissed off at each other that, they were left alone, and his uncle is fighting with the dad, the mayor's husband, because I think she's the mayor or whatever of the town.
The mom of the bully girl is the mayor.
Of the girl, yeah. So, and then also, Jake, he feels bad of what's going on. He's regretting giving Chucky, and he actually ends up talking to her about that. We'll just call her bitch, whatever. Her name's not.
Yeah, we'll just call her bitch. Yeah, sounds good to me.
He ends up talking to her, and she's telling about like, why would my doll want to kill me? And he actually tells her, he was mad at her, and he knew she was alive, and she thinks he's a freak and doesn't want to talk to him at first anymore, and she's worried about her sister, and but she ends up. Since he's the only one that'll believe her, they want to go back to the house and try to find where Chucky is. And while they're there, the house is like almost all burnt down. And so while they're up at the top of the stairs, she's like, "You hate me that much?" And she's talking about you took it the wrong way, or he was like, "Oh, how am I supposed to take it?" And he's all pissed off at her. He's like, "Oh, because I forget what he called her, but he was like telling her, he's like, yeah, you deserve to be hate. I mean, the way you treat people." And she's like backing up, and she ends up the rail because it's burnt. She starts to fall, and he catches her, and Chucky's trying to tell him to let her go, how easy it is. And he tells her, "I'm not a killer like you." And he ends up rescuing her, or pulling her up. So he didn't let go as Chucky wanted. So he's trying to jump up and swipe her ankles and everything. And that's when the cop comes in and brings the doll back to the hospital, and they're in the cop car. And the mom, who's the cop, Devin's mom, is the only one that knows at first that the one kid, he didn't die in the fire. He was stabbed. So, of course, there's another murder going on. And the cop that's bringing Chucky in ends up eating her, the younger sister's food and stuff is in the room, and Chucky comes to life. He takes a scalpel, throws it in his back, and he's didn't know what's going on, and he's like, "I can't move." And Chucky's like, "Oh yeah, I hit your spine." So he stabs him with needles and everything, kills him. Brutal kill.
Trying to figure out what that emoji is. It looks like a little umbrella on top of something. I don't know. I can't figure out what that is.
Yeah. And we do learn more about Charles Ray. He's older, and he's in a home. And this is what I was saying, how it's connected to... oh, my battery's running low. Let me plug in my charger.
Oh, it's a beach emoji. Okay. Got it.
Oh, I
see a beach emoji because he's calling her a bitch. Yeah, I guess that makes sense as Santa. I was like, what the hell is that little umbrella on? It's like swirly underneath. I was like, is that a tornado in a box?
Cloudnado. Cloudnado.
Yeah, sand makes sense. It's just a black and white box with swirly things.
So, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that at the hospital for anyone who hasn't seen it. But what's cool though, with Charles Lee Ray, his history, he was in a home, and he was probably like 16 or 17. I can't really tell his age, but he's an older teenager, and he's like reading the little kid, Peter Pan, to the kids, and he's teaching them how to cuss. And the one says "fuck" in front of the woman who runs it. And she's like, "Where did you hear that?" And he didn't say anything. And he's like, after he leaves, he winks at him and stuff. And the janitor, he's walking through, and he gets it all dirty, and the janitor ends up messing up his shoes and being mean to him. So he kills this janitor, and he brings the kids to where the dead body is and everything. And he had cut the guy's hand off and put a hook there saying Captain Hook. And the two little kids are like screaming, running off. But there's one kid who like didn't care, and he took a stick and started like poking them. And as like the guy,
That's what you do. You poke shit with the stick when you don't understand.
And that's what and he says the same thing that the killer when he's like, you got guts, kid. And he didn't like, he could like feel a little connection to this kid because he didn't care about the dead body and everything. And it turns out that kid, Charles leaves. He ends up running away when he's older, leaving the home. But before he leaves, he gives the kid a present. It turns out it's the guy's hand. And the kid said that before he gave it to him, he's like, yeah, don't tell anyone. And he has the kid, and the kid's playing with the hand, and he puts it under the bed. And the woman's like, go to bed, Eddie Caputo. And which the guy, Eddie, which I didn't realize it until this episode, the first movie. So I guess they connect. That's how they met each other in the home and how they became partners. So I was like, oh, that's a little Easter egg there. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even know that until the end of the episode. But yeah, some other interesting shit goes down, but I'll leave it at that for anyone who hasn't seen the fourth one. I know you haven't, so I won't tell you anymore, but it's definitely worth checking out and looking forward to the next one. So I'm impressed with the series so far.
I like it.
But that's all the Chucky's there and the TV shows. So 2 hours and 10 minutes, we went through them all. And the show. So, and anybody in here want to make a comment about the show or anything to say or anything that's going on? Doesn't necessarily have to be Chucky.
Say what's on your mind.
We're opening up to you. Talk amongst yourselves. Discuss.
Entertain yourselves. Jeez.
Yeah, definitely check out the show.
Oh, it looks weird, but I'm just playing with this thing. I don't know why I get sitting here for too long. I start playing with this little bag of beads. I just start spinning it.
So, but yes, next week we got Greta Volkova coming on. She's done a bunch of Mark Polonia films, Sharkenstein, Bigfoot vs. Zombies, Camp Blood, some other... she was in a vampire movie too. I can't think of the title right now.
Yeah, something Dracula.
Yeah. Chucky is probably a favorite horror character. Yep.
Yeah. Chucky's definitely in the top tier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's my favorite because I've always been partial to Jason, but I do like Chucky.
Yeah. Chucky's still up there, though.
Yeah, definitely. Chucky's definitely up there.
He may be short, but he's up there.
Right. I wish they would have done, because, when they did the Freddy vs. Jason, they did a lot of fan, posters and whatnot of other versus movies, and they talked about, forever doing a Leprechaun versus Chucky. And I really wish they would have done that.
Yeah.
Chucky's wit, and especially if they did the Warwick Leprechaun, their wit together, that movie would have been freaking hilarious.
Freddy won. Yeah. Yep. So. Yep. All right. Well, I guess if that's it and anything else, I think that's good for the night. We've reached our conclusion for the night. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Leprechaun was a freaking weird movie. Yes, Leprechaun was.
Yeah, I like the Leprechaun movies, except for Origins.
Origins, that had nothing.
No. I do own it. I ain't gonna lie, I do own it because I own every single Leprechaun movie there is. But Origins is just no.
Maybe we'll have a Leprechaun night.
Yeah, we'll do it in March.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do a Leprechaun.
St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, there we go. Well, thank you for joining us, Aaron. We'll hopefully see you next week. So, but yeah, we'll end on that. But yeah, that'd be a good idea. In March, we'll do a Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Not sure what the date is, but yeah, we'll figure out.
Well, I know St. Patty's Day is on the 17th, so whatever Saturday is closest to that.
That's what I mean. I don't know what Saturday
is
closest to that offhand. So, all right. Well, that's it. Thank you for everyone who joined. Thank you, Aaron. We'll see you next week. And if you're catching the replay, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. All right.
See ya.
Bye.